saying, Jevon?
Hi, good afternoon, folks, and welcome to another edition of Sunset on Plus. Today is Friday, March the 3rd. March the 8th, sorry.
Yes.
Right,
March
I'm
the
all
8th.
over the place.
Yes, sure.
Right? It's because whole day I've been buying gifts and I've been celebrating these women in my life, my workers and stuff like that, because today is International Women's Day. And today, right, it is an honor to have one of the most beautiful women who has ever graced this set, Miss Camille Moore.
Thanks, Jevon.
How are you today, Miss
I'm
Moore?
good. I'm good.
You look so lovely in your red polka dot.
Yes, I try.
Right, right. And blessing us today as well is the handsome Mr.
Handsome Miss.
J-Dot.
Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Good afternoon to the Sunset Show.
Yes.
How are you? How is everyone? Happy International Women's Day to you, Camille.
Thank you.
Happy International Women's Day.
You know, you have to sing more later, right?
Happy International Women's Day to everyone. Happy International Women's Day to my mom and all the women that would have played a pivotal role in my upcoming. I am truly grateful for their purpose and their presence in my life, and I trust that I will continue to make you proud each and every day, each and every breath. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Right, so, Miss Camille, today is International Women's Day, yes, and you know, we all have important women in our lives. We have our mothers, we have our sisters, we have our daughters, we have our aunts, right? And I like to believe that this day, unlike Mother's Day, is to celebrate everyone as a woman, and you know what the struggles of being a woman are in today's society. But I would like to ask, in today's society, that inclusion and you know stuff like that is going around, right? Does this day really holds the same amount of significance, right, that it would have held, let me say, 20 years ago or 10 years ago? What's your take on that?
I still think it does. And yes, it is International Women's Day. And of course, men do have a International Men's Day as well. I don't want them to feel they're left out. We'll be celebrating that later on in the year. That's November 19th. But I like to think that women's issues are men's issues. It's all about humanity. I see Jermaine doing something with his face.
I would love to know how you explain that.
No,
to me.
because we're all human at the end of the day, right? And we all have women in our lives in some capacity or the other. So, yes, it's still relevant today as it was 20, 30 from inception. Because, unfortunately, women are still grappling with many issues that you all know of, right? We have domestic violence.
Yes.
That is still on the increase. I saw some statistics. Since the pandemic, we've had a 42% increase, right? So, you're seeing we still have to deal with that. We have discrimination, and it's not only in the workplace, society at large. Those are just some of the issues. So that's why I believe that International Women's Day, yes, we have this day. It's a wonderful way to commemorate all our triumphs and achievements, but we still have a lot of work to be done, right? And to bring it more on a human issue.
Okay, nice. Right. And Jermaine, what's your take on it?
Well, I would truly bring a spiritual twist to it. I would like everyone to know in my own spiritual integrity, in my own spiritual journey as a human being, that woman for me is the symbol of the gate. No one comes to earth but through her. And we know that is a woman. Right? And women, that symbol needs to be respected. It needs to be honored. It needs to be claimed, you know. And women also needs to know that consciously in order to, you know, to act their role perfectly, being feminine, being producing what they have to produce, doing what they have to do.
Jermaine, you know you're going a bit.
No,
it's
no, no.
starting to get problematic there.
No. I want to keep it. I want to keep it there because I don't want to mix up my spiritual point of view with the general aspect of International Women's Day. My point of view is just a slight addition to what might be a consensus to International Women's Day. I want everyone to know that women are the gate. We need to respect them more. We need to make them. We actually, let me tie it back here. I want to see more women as business owners. I want to see more women as prime ministers and presidents. I think when that starts happening, a balance would be created.
Okay, so I'm in agreement with you there.
Give me a
Because you know the theme is inspire inclusion.
Right.
All right, and as you said, women. Okay, I may have had some issues with the role, maybe the choice of words, but we just want to be. We form part of society.
Yeah.
Right, and we want to have our place as well, just like our male counterparts. All right, we have contributions. The young women in our society have contributions to make as well. We just want to be allowed to make them.
Yeah, in some countries today, women can't even drive. I mean, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and we're very blessed in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
As much as we may rail up against the government from time to time, we have, you know, been afforded a lot of liberties, all right, as opposed to our, you know, Middle Eastern or different parts of the world where women are just, you know, kept in the background.
And just a little historic note on that, right? You all know that it didn't happen just like that. That woman was fighting for over 60 years to have this day. It actually, the first march was actually done in 1908, and it was simply to have better working conditions and shorter working hours and better pay, right? And it was only recognized in 1975, right?
That seems on point.
Yeah.
And they're still fighting for things that we're all still fighting for.
Yes. So, you know, I like how you spoke about, you know, what will, you know, Women's Day meant to you, the importance of it, right? And you give your take on it, right? So let's look, and I'm not cut you, so I'll get back to you. But after you speak, we'll look at some of the important women right here in our country that made an impact. What are you going to say, Jermaine?
I was just about to say that we touch on women having more general roles in business place and stuff like that, and we talk about the balance. I mean, we could touch about the women who have to raise 5 and 6 children on their own.
Single mothers.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about the strength of those women. Those are the symbol of rock that I am talking about. Those type of mothers, Camille, that we can really celebrate when International Women's Day come. But I had a question. When a day approaches us like this, as a woman, I mean, what are some of the feelings you start conjuring up? You know, what are some of the things you want to expect?
Again, I would like to touch on what you said. You see that word respect? I want us to have more of that in our interactions. Right? So, yes, March 8th, it's a Friday. Next week we're moving on. Right? But as a woman, you want to be able to move about in your space with that level of respect, feeling safe. Right? That is very important as a woman.
Yes, I'll take that.
That's safety. So.
And yes, I do hear the plights of many of my friends, my female friends, and my workers that as simple as traveling to and from. You know, sometimes as simple as walking on their streets. You know, the heckling, the comments, and most of them say it is not really what they do, but it's how they do it. You know, it makes them feel, quote unquote, dirty sometimes.
Yeah, a simple phrase as good morning could turn into something more.
Yes.
You feel as if you're being undressed with that "good morning, ma'am." You know, some men love to be very subtle and, you know, put on their Barry White voice, right? And you feel like, okay, do I respond? Do I walk away quickly? You know,
Why there
because
has to be a choice? The man said good morning.
but it's how it's said.
Well,
I remember we were talking about respect.
I will answer that because, like I say, I have a lot of female friends, and I have focus on stuff because sometimes they are afraid that if they do respond, it's going to lead it to something else,
What about just not answering and continue
and
journey?
then they be deemed as
Yes.
rude.
But, okay, that's your opinion.
It happens.
That is your opinion.
And you know, I want to ask you today, Jermaine, as you're, you know, dressed lovely in that pink
you.
sweater and
I guess
enjoying.
that's a compliment.
How many women heckled you on your way to our studio?
A lot.
But did you feel like you were being undressed?
No.
Okay, all right. And therein lies the difference for men and women.
I can't-
Sometimes that interaction
Okay.
could be, they don't, some people just don't know when to draw the line, to make it a friendly banter. It becomes something more.
I mean-
and then persons feel uncomfortable.
What I got was like, I mean, you look nice in pink. Very cute. You look handsome. You know, stuff like that. But I know men could be very, very aggressive. Men could be intolerable, disgusting. I mean, real. But guys, take it down.
Alright, so
Well, take it down.
with that being said, folks,
Take it
I
up.
mean, right, we have to unfortunately take a break, but we'll be back. And when we come back, we'll go into some of the women who actually played an important part here in Trinidad.
This is another episode of Life Matters, and I am your host, Latina Matter. Give us some insight into what is Miss Earth and what is so special about this pageant.
Okay, so like many pageants, there are a purpose behind the crown. So Miss Earth in particular, it's all about the awareness of the environment, and I'm basically an ambassador informing everyone to take care of their environment and their surroundings.
Take this moment, guys, to advocate the importance of mental health awareness, ensuring that this is something that is started to be placed in schools, in these school curriculums.
Yes.
Why aren't we having easy therapy access to schools, to parents, to the children? You know, that is something that we need to get some hands written about, right?
My name is Jesse McBarrow, and you are looking at Mending Minds. Tell us your Mending Mind moment.
I will say set goals.
A lot of people get so caught up in the what, they forget the why. There's this fixation of this is what I'm going to do, and they forget why.
Yeah.
You know, you pursue that in the first place.
First book in the Bible is a book you've probably heard of. It's called Genesis.
Genesis comes from a Hebrew word. It's pronounced reshit, and it just means beginning.
Now, there's a lot of stories from the book of Genesis, and it's easy just to pull out a specific story and try to tell you what it might mean. But we think the best way to understand this book is to look at the book as a whole and show you how the whole thing is designed.
And welcome back, folks. We are here again at Sunset on Plus. We are here every afternoon from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on Tego TV. You can get us on Facebook, YouTube, right? And we have the website link as well, right? So, Miss Camille Moore, right? Seeing that it is World International Women's Day, right? We'd like to, mention some of the women right here in Trinidad and Tobago that made a drastic impact in our culture and society, right? Who would you like to bring to light?
So I'm going to start off my list with our very own Miss Universe, Wendy Fitzwilliams.
The beautiful
Beautiful Miss Wendy
yes.
Fitzwilliams.
Gorgeous up to today.
Yes.
Right.
Right. I would also put Janelle Penny Commission in that, who started it all off, because if it wasn't her, we wouldn't have had a Wendy. Right? And we also have Giselle Laurent West. So we have all our Miss World, Miss Universe, definitely.
Right.
All right.
As we on Giselle, we can mention Giselle Salandi.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Correct.
She would have been a
And
really good one for us.
I believe that had it not for the what is the right choice you use? The
Untimely death?
unfought unit feat. I think she would have gone on to be
Yes.
one of the top women into international boxing today.
I agree.
You know, she was very
Very, very talented.
and high spirited individual. You know,
Well, because of my personal attachment to the individual, I would just say R.I.P. Just, and we all will see you again sometime.
right? And for all those who didn't know, Miss Giselle Salandi, she was one of our international female boxers who lost her feet, right, the 4th of January 2009 in a tragic accident that happened under the flyover, the Sealers flyover. Yeah.
I would like to pay special homage to Kamala Prasad Bissessa, our
Yes.
first
Female
female
Prime
Prime
Minister.
Minister. Lovely, lovely, lovely lady. Also, Paula May Weeks.
Yes.
Our first
Our
female
first
president.
Female
Yes.
president.
You know, I would come at you. What do you have to say about our lovely president?
I have zero comment when it comes to anything political. But
Come
yes,
here.
they were the first, and I will acknowledge both of them. Yes.
Really
Yeah.
stupendous careers. I thank you very much. They played an absolute pivotal role in the culture and society of Trinidad and Tobago.
Agreed.
We have any other sporting personnel who we could touch on, female? This our sprinter, Kellyanne Batiste. I mean,
And what about Michelle?
Michelle
Ayi?
Ayi.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. There are many others.
And then we have the designer, right? I forgot her name.
You forgot.
She was on the competition and she won.
Oh gosh, Ayong Chi.
Miss
Yes.
Ayong. Yes,
Anya.
yes.
Anya.
How can we
Yes.
forget?
Yes.
the
I mean,
beautiful
we obviously we wouldn't remember everyone.
Yeah,
We
but-
wouldn't have make lists of everyone who would have did great. But I mean, on a general consensus of International Women's Day, who would have played a pivotal role for us, we here at Sunset would like to really thank
Right.
you.
Correct.
And then we also have, don't forget, Miss Jean Pierre.
Oh.
But
I mean,
the
we
Jean
have- we
Pierre
have
complex
a
is
whole
named
complex named
after.
Yes. Yeah, so many,
Right.
so many.
Right? And she is actually from Faisabad.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So
Right? And the dancer, Miss McBurney.
yes, Beryl McBurney.
I
That
mean,
would have been way before some of our times,
Mm,
but
definitely before me, I was
she
just
would have
about to say that.
founded like the Little Carib Theatre, so she was very gifted dancer in her day.
And today we have Miss Camille Wardrobe Alling, which actually plays a vital role in space exploration today. Right? So it says here that she was actually born, and she is an unsung hero, right? She was actually born in Port of Spain in October 1966, right? And from what I see here, she still looks very lovely for a Trinidad woman. She's representing us very well out there, right?
Congrats.
Yep.
Yes.
Right, and she's also she's a mechanical engineer, right? And she's a spokesperson, and she from what I see here, she holds down a fort for women here, right? Silently, but you know, she's making our name out there. She's marking a spot for Trinidad in the space exploration.
Space.
Yep.
I like that.
I mean, yeah, we touch on our political heroes. We talking about our societal heroes. I mean, we could touch on our our entertaining heroes like Patrice Roberts.
Of
and
course. We
Nadia
have the Destra
Batson,
Garcia.
Destra Garcia.
Don't forget Denise Belfort.
Of course.
They are all,
Bits.
right.
I mean, they're so Faye and Lion,
Yeah.
Terry Lyons,
Yeah.
singing Sandra, Calypso,
Rose. Yes.
I mean, yeah. You see how passionate I start
Look,
singing
look at
Sandra.
all
with the
these
late
talent
ones.
that
Yeah.
came
Yeah.
out from this small country
Correct.
that has reached out and spread out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? To around the world, you know? Right? But I like how you touched on a little bit of sports, right? Jermaine, and you had somebody that you wanted to...
Oh, hi. Yes, and I thank you very much. You're a genius. Huh? I mean, yeah, I want to highlight today, guys. This young man is such a phenomenal person, as opposed to a phenomenal cricketer. I mean, I'll let it out the bag. We're talking about Jevon Joseph, the rising cricket star from Guyana. I mean, let me get the word right. Is it Baracara? How would they pronounce it in their dialect? Is it Baracara?
Well,
Maybe.
Born on the 31st of August. What was the year?
1999, actually.
Yes. So
Yeah.
he's a young lad.
Young lad. Height is 1.72 meters. I mean, he took 7 for 60 to actually win a game that the great Brian Lara and Courtney Walsh and all these guys would have went down there in the Gabba. I mean, that's the hot box of cricket.
Yes.
Right.
He is a fast bowler, yes.
Well,
And
I'm
he
learning
did
new
it for
stuff
us.
today, Jermaine, because
Say
I'm
again.
not going to sit down here and pretend to know cricket.
Listen, I know you're a sporting fanatic as well. I mean,
Not for cricket.
what is your favorite sport?
Gymnastics. Swimming. I love a track and field. Football. But I mean, I'm not as into it as, you
Okay.
guys might,
Fair enough.
And you know, the ironic thing with this whole story is when we went back, we were speaking about the other day about the internet, right? And how social media affects children today,
Yes.
right? You all know that he grew up without telephone connections
Yeah,
and internet.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, he
Wow.
lived like
Right, so he was one of the old school who was
School,
outside
okay.
pelting big stone, and look what happened. He
And
ended up
look
pelting
where he is
cricket ball.
today.
Yeah, right?
he lived like 225 kilometers up the Ganja River.
Wow.
2 days by boat.
Wow.
2 days. So imagine he had to take 2 days to reach down into the city to train, and then 2 days back.
That is
And he was a
dedication.
security officer before he turned
Professional cricketer.
a professional
Okay.
cricketer. I mean,
So-
I want us to really highlight the short career of this person thus far, because, to be honest, one of my triggers in this lifetime that I have is to see the West Indies win a World Cup. I mean, I must say that in this lifetime. I would love to.
Right.
I am manifesting it. Before I leave Earth, planet Earth, I would love to see the West Indies team
Rise
win
again.
a World
I
Cup.
think that's everybody's
Right again,
dream.
is it? Right
Well, I
again.
have
That's
to
not
say-
everybody's dream. No, Camila.
No. I mean, when we talk about the glory days of the West Indies cricket team, I mean, I think Sir Vivian Richards
wasn't
celebrated.
born
I'm just saying
Okay,
what my
okay.
parents and my older persons in my family would have talked. I wasn't around for it. But as you talk about cricket, I think today is Sir Vivian Richards' birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Sylvain.
Right? So when you hear, the older generation talk about where West Indies cricket was, and then you're seeing we had our Brian Lara's, and where you're kind of wondering where we're going with it now. What is he fit?
Let's go into a little more, right? Because I actually grew up looking at Brian Lara, looking at Courtney Walsh, and stuff like that, right? And back then, I would think that I would like to believe that when you looked at cricket back then, there was more passion
Agreed.
in the game, right? Especially from our players, our West Indians players, right? I don't see that passion anymore.
But
Right?
what replace passion?
Money,
Well, I mean,
right? But
Right.
here's the thing, right? And what have this country done to support our players? What are they doing to reinstill that passion and that pride in our, right? Let's forget regional. Let's just talk about local.
Well, before I even answer, to be honest, I want to be fair to Jevon Joseph. So let me wrap up for Jevon Joseph.
All right.
And I could talk about what this country even plays a part in any sporting activity. Because, I mean, I'm glad he even touched on that. And let me just put that here because I really want to swing that back, right? So Jevon Joseph brilliantly took 7 for 68 versus Australia 2 months back. To win us a test match. As I mentioned before, the great Brian and they tried it. They went down to the Gabba and they failed. I'm not putting any shadow on no cricketer. I love cricket. Everyone knows that. That is my number one.
Well, I'm seeing that
sport.
today and I'm hearing it today.
Yes. So, Jevon, I mean, for giving us that boost of faith and confidence and that hope, that little spark again. I mean, yeah, continue to really pump them balls.
And he's going to be part of the
Well,
of the West Indian
I really
lineup.
hope that Darren Sammy would include him in the
Right, so-
World Cup squad.
Right, so not to cut you, but let us put a little pin in that. We'll get back to it. Right, folks, unfortunately, and I like to use the word unfortunately because we don't like to leave, but we have to take a short break and we'll be back in a few.
This is another episode of Life Matters, and I am your host, Latina Mata. Give us some insight into what is Miss Earth and what is so special about this pageant.
Okay, so like many pageants, there are a purpose behind the crown. So Miss Earth in particular, it's all about the awareness of the environment, and I'm basically an ambassador informing everyone to take care of their environment and their surroundings.
Take this moment, guys, to advocate the importance of mental health awareness, ensuring that this is something that is started to be placed in schools and in school curriculums.
Yes.
Why aren't we having easy therapy access to schools, to parents, to the children? You know, that is something that we need to get some hands written about, right?
My name is Jesse McBarrow, and you are looking at Mending Minds. Tell us your Mending Mind moment.
I will say set goals.
A lot of people get so caught up in the what, they forget the why. There's this fixation of this is what I'm going to do, and they forget why.
Yeah.
You know, you pursue that in the first place.
First book in the Bible is a book you've probably heard of. It's called Genesis.
Genesis comes from a Hebrew word. It's pronounced reshit, and it just means beginning.
Now, there's a lot of stories from the book of Genesis, and it's easy just to pull out a specific story and try to tell you what it might mean. But we think the best way to understand this book is to look at the book as a whole and show you how the whole thing is designed.
What do you have with Paula?
She wasn't effective as a
She
president.
was
She was just
a-
there, flying out,
Yeah.
collecting she money.
Whichever.
She'll go down in the history books
And
as
we're
doing
back,
anything.
folks. Right, and as you can see, my two co-hosts, they have been at it with this whole sports topic.
Yes.
Right, so what were you back and forth about?
We were just giving light to Shama and the wonderful work that he would have done. We reached a point where we were discussing that we hope that Darren Tammy, the West Indies coach, include him in the T20 squad for the World Cup that is being hosted by the Caribbean and the USA. So I hope you have a little business ideas and strategies to go there, Jevon, to make a little dust when the foreigners come in. You don't have your ideas and case of water stack up to go there.
Right, but on that note, right, do you all think that the government of Trinidad and Tobago or the Ministry of Sports and Culture and Community Development, right, is doing their part to support our young uprising athletes, footballers, cricketers, tennis players, netball, stuff like that?
Can you look at it?
I want to say yes, in their own way.
In their own way.
That they're making strides. Now remember, the Ministry of Sports and Community Development, they do give out grants.
Yeah,
they gave out some grants, I believe earlier this year, around February or so. Some grants were given to, our promising athletes as well as sporting committees and whatnot. So, and I know they have been working with schools. Not that I'm not working for them. I don't want you all to feel I have an in. I'm just going based on what I've read, what I've seen, in the papers and whatnot. They have been making strides. I believe they have. Is it enough? That's what we want to know.
So
right?
is that enough?
No, it's not. Because because okay.
Okay.
I
At
just
the end
really
of the day,
don't
it's
want
all
to go
about
there.
funding.
Right.
Right? The government cannot do it alone. As much as, yes, they could put the infrastructure and the policies, and we can see that they are doing that. But I think as citizens, we have to jump out as well. Our corporations, the private sector, they could lend assistance in terms of sponsorships and whatnot. It's a partnership. It can't be, the government alone. We all, and I know sometimes our athletes, they go above and beyond with nothing, all right, before they get discovered or they bring back a goal first.
So, all right. So,
I understand that.
Or you drag my twists out. So, here's my twist. Firstly, I don't like when our athletes struggle and go out there and win something, make themselves something, and then the hypocrites that we have here
Oh dear.
clap.
Jamaican.
Right?
Typical
I don't like
Isn't
that.
that our
Typical
culture?
Trinidad
No,
behavior.
You have
And
to
again,
make it first.
Again.
You have to make it
But
first.
that's not fair.
And we all know it's
Because
not fair.
I could be up in my feelings after winning a gold medal and say, okay, you know what, Trinidad didn't help me. I'm going to run for Jamaica. I'm going to run for Canada.
Well,
I
so
could do that.
you're bringing back the story about Dr. Bolden, yeah?
No. No.
Okay, so let me. Okay,
No.
so I understand what you were saying about grants and stuff like that, right? But let's compare the facilities and the treatment that our sports personnel face here in Trinidad, right?
Compared to
Compared
Jamaica.
to- let's use
Yes.
Jamaica.
But
where-
Jamaica
they have-
are actually investing heavily
Exactly.
in sports right now.
Exactly. Where it is that when you wake up, if you're an athlete, all you have to do is run.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about bills being paid. You don't have to worry about anything. All you need to do is focus and train, right? If you're a footballer, right? All you need to do is play football and you are paid, right? And we're not talking about, the uprising, the young ones who now entering into the field. We're talking about people who represent our country on an international level, right? Why is it so much times you will hear athletes, they have to do fundraisers to make up money to buy tickets to go and represent Trinidad?
I know what I
Or
say to
being-
that.
or being
I say it's a
done.
mindset.
That is the
It is a
hypocrisy I'm
mindset
talking
because
about.
sports, for some reason or the other, Trinidad and Tobagonians, we believe sport is a secondary, that's a hobby. That's something you could do on the side. We want doctors, lawyers, nurses, teachers. We want professionals. We want engineers. Until our mindset as a society changes where we can see sports has value. I know why I say it has value because we've seen what our country can produce.
Exactly.
Dating back to the Hazley Crawfords and the Jean Pears.
But Miss
If we
Camille-
have to go back into our history,
But Miss
we
Camille-
can do it.
But Ms. Camille,
Yeah, sure.
I don't agree with you say that it doesn't have value because if it didn't have
No, I'm
value, there would have
saying-
been a
that.
ministry.
I'm saying
She did not say that.
our culture, our mindset as a people. Yes,
don't
we,
agree with
no. You have to
I
understand.
told her not to go here,
No,
I told you all not to
sports,
go
when-
here.
we're only now, I want to believe, and I say that when I see the rollout of certain programs and seeing grants, our facilities being upgraded. When I see these things happening, it's like, okay, maybe they're trying to diversify. Because we've been talking about we need to diversify as a country. We need to look at other talents, and we have a lot of talented people on this island. Not everyone can be a doctor.
Yeah.
Not all of us can be a lawyer. Why not
is
nurture
true.
someone that has the cricketing abilities, that could play football, right? And I think it's a mindset, and I say this, if I don't want to misquote this gentleman, he used to be part of the Olympics committee. This was a Mr. Brian Lewis. He's no longer the president. But he said it's a cultural thing with us. We still see sports as less than. It's a second sort of, pastime.
So question, what in your own, now I want you to answer, in your own opinion, had you been the sports minister?
Oh dear, look
Yeah,
where you're putting me.
yes. Had you been the sports minister today, what are some of the initiatives, programs, infrastructures, what are some of the sports you want to even pinpoint? You could just name a few that you would want to see really rise. That when Olympics come around, that when a World Cup come around, you want to sit as a sports minister, knowing that you provided for these athletes to go out there and earn me a medal. Now, wait. Yeah, put it all together. Because the twist of that is, I know that before, the government would have aided athletes, but what they did, they didn't do anything. Monies was wasted. I mean, and these things happened before. I came from a sporting family.
Okay. So you have the inside.
So
I am just on the outside
So answer my
looking
question.
in. I'm just a passionate person when it comes to development on the whole. And I hate to see talented people, their talents go to waste. That is my thing.
So I would never
if I
view-
was a sports
Right.
minister, right, and I had, the monies, of course I'm targeting the schools. If I had that unlimited budget, I'm going to start there. And it can't just be routine sports. Yes, we love cricket, we love football, we love track and field. We're now seeing swimming. We're bringing home some gold. We're seeing cyclists.
Netball.
There's boxing, netball. Since GP, when last you hear anything, exciting? There are different types of sports, right?
Okay.
I will
Yeah.
vote for you, Camille.
Listen,
I will
now
vote
hear
for
this.
you.
Right. What about education in sports?
Education in what
In
sense?
the schools, right? Right. We have secondary schools now. There are certain schools that they have this physical education.
Right.
But what it normally boils down to, picking those who want to play netball, like in my daughter's school, right? Picking those who want to play football, and that is basically it. But where are they focusing in getting proper people to go into these schools and teach?
Well, you see, that
Right.
forms part of the issue again with the funding. You have to find the right people with the proper skills.
Yes.
Yes, we
Right.
have programs, universities are rolling out their different
will-
sports
that
education.
helps nurture and develop sports in
Right.
Trinidad and Tobago.
I believe all of that, but you see, if there's, again, and that's why I keep going back to mindset, if you don't see it as important, you're going to see it as a waste of money, right? So why am I pumping money when I could be throwing money behind more engineering programs?
But do you think that is how they think? Tell me, that is how they think? Do you see it that way?
I see it that way because we're not seeing as Jevon would have said, we've seen athletes having to, practically beg for sponsorship. If we had the mindset that, yes, sports is important to us, they wouldn't have to be going through that. We would see the rollout already in our primary schools, probably as young as kindergarten. Other countries are doing it. So we sit back and marvel, oh gosh, Jamaica track and field doing the best. We could be on par as well. We can do it. We have the athletes.
All right, so here what, right? Right before we'll say you all fly across each other on this table.
No, we're not going to do that.
But is that right? But unfortunately, and I'm sure the viewers at home, they are liking the tet-a-tet. But unfortunately, again, we have to go on another short break. right? We're going to touch on it. We're going to touch on it a little bit when we come back. And I would like to speak about the TikTok incident, right? We'll be back, folks.
This is another episode of Life Matters, and I am your host, Latina Mata. Give us some insight into what is Miss Earth and what is so special about this pageant.
Okay, so like many pageants, there are a purpose behind the crown. So Miss Earth in particular, it's all about the awareness of the environment, and I'm basically an ambassador informing everyone to take care of their environment and their surroundings.
Take this moment, guys, to advocate the importance of mental health awareness, ensuring that this is something that is started to be placed in schools, in these school curriculums.
Yes.
Why aren't we having easy therapy access to schools, to parents, to the children? You know, that is something that we need to get some hands written about, right?
My name is Jesse McBarrow, and you are looking at Mending Minds. Tell us your Mending Mind moment.
I will say set goals.
A lot of people get so caught up in the what, they forget the why. There's this fixation of this is what I'm going to do, and they forget why.
Yeah.
You know, you pursue that in the first place.
First book in the Bible is a book you've probably heard of. It's called Genesis.
Genesis comes from a Hebrew word. It's pronounced reshit, and it just means beginning.
Now, there's a lot of stories from the book of Genesis, and it's easy just to pull out a specific story and try to tell you what it might mean. But we think the best way to understand this book is to look at the book as a whole and show you how the whole thing is designed.
Welcome back, folks. And to say again, we are here every afternoon on PlusTV, right? This is the evening show, the sunset show, right? And we had a little tit for tat just now about the sports and the direction sports is going in Trinidad, right? But I want to draw reference to you all about this gentleman who was supposedly, according to the reports of the newspapers, he was killed during a TikTok live. Right, you all heard about that?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I caught a glimpse of it in The Guardian.
You caught a glimpse of it. Right, so apparently there's a gentleman by the name of Marvin. He's the age of 50. And based on his story, he was actually on a TikTok live with a female at around 1:05 a.m. where he supposedly, allegedly got a phone call. He moved away from the camera. It was still live though. And an altercation was heard, which was reported by the person he was on the TikTok live with, right? After which he was reportedly seen stumbling back into the view of the camera, bloody, right? Which he collapsed, And the individual who he was on the live with, right, actually called the police, and they met him dead, right, bloody with a cutlass below him. His name is Marvin. Yeah, all we have is that.
Let Marvin.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, what's your take on that?
That's scary.
It is scary. But you know, my question is, what are you doing up at 1 o'clock in the morning on a TikTok live? I'm sorry, that's where my brain went, right?
This is the time that, normally people are up.
Asleep at 1 a.m.?
I don't think it's, I mean, to be fair, I have not heard about this. Is the first time this is actually, but when you hear things like that, I am scared.
Okay.
I feel that is a traumatic something.
No, this is actually the first, will be the first reported incident like this happened in Trinidad. But look at the wider world. I mean, this is something that is a norm in the United States and other countries. How much stories we hear about people either being murdered, committing murder, or even committing suicide on social media, not necessarily
platform.
TikTok, but social media. Is this the direction that we are going? Trinidad like to follow everybody else, and unfortunately, sometimes we follow the wrong instead of the good, right? So, after this, what's next?
I shudder to think, Jevon. I really shudder to think, because I know we were talking earlier in the break about, thankfully, we do not have mass shootings at our schools. And I know you say yet, but I don't want us to go down that road, right? Because again, that is something that is predominantly, we see that in the States, we see it in Europe now. That's a predominant thing. That's like a way of life, right? So with this TikTok, live, murder, death, and you keep saying, where next? I'm hoping we don't spiral.
Let's go more into that. Would you say that because it have this medium where people could do this stuff and get popular or publicize themselves by doing these things is what caused it? For example, if it is, you're mentally disturbed, right? And I would like to look at them as mentally disturbed individuals, right? And you know that you could commit something and you wouldn't get the attention you want to get out of it, because at the end of the day, these are people who are looking for attention.
So hear me, Jevon, right? Again, I'm listening to this story, and because I didn't really hear firsthand what the story is about, I am listening to both of you to chime in, right? I mean, it doesn't really sound like that person had some kind of mental, because really and truly, these things, it's sounding to me that we're about to blame, I could be wrong, social media for these type of contents. But remember, we talk about the good of social media, we talk about bad. And that is just an unfortunate incident happened to be recorded.
So it was a happenstance. It wasn't something
I would like to think that.
Like to think that.
Because he's on a live. He's not expecting, nobody knows when they're going to die, of course. Sure. But he's not expecting to get a phone call on a live. He just get a phone call. That is something that any one of us would do on a normal, average day. If we get a phone call, we would go to the door and answer it. The person say, come to the outside, we will go. Right. Just unfortunately for him.
Could the phone call be related to the murder, the alleged murder?
I mean, we don't know.
We don't know.
All right, and we would personally keep a track of this as the story unfolds.
I would like to bring this back sometime.
The point
I would like to see how our policemen would deal
with something like this.
No, the point I was going to make before, right? I was not trying to blame social media for these things happening. My question was, could it be that social media not promoting it, not wanting to promote it, but could it be that if it didn't have this venue of publicizing these things, would it affect the amount of mass shootings, and stuff happening?
It's a sensitive topic to even talk about.
Or is it because of social media it's being publicized more?
Listen. Because of social media, it only means now that the whole world could see what you're doing. That is the only difference from it not being prevalent before and we couldn't see. But before, people was committing suicide, people was hanging themselves, people was doing sort of stuff like that. People were doing and committing all these heinous things from way before. Now we have a camera that could record these things. So now it is being recorded. People are actually fantasizing. People are making a career out of recording things.
Right, but what about the incident where the girl and her boyfriend was killed because they was able to track them through her social media accounts?
It's just a form. I mean, okay, when the police want to find a bandit, they would use the same to find the bandit. Again, it's a sensitive topic because we benefit from it, but yet still it causes harm. Again, we go back to the human nature of choice. That I can't sit here and say social media is the cause of this. I'm not going to do that.
Because at the end of the day, it's a tool, huh?
It is
and
a tool.
It's up to the individual how
To
they
use
use it.
I enjoy using, I don't have a TikTok account, but I enjoy using WhatsApp. I enjoy using.
All right.
You gotta get a TikTok.
Well, good night. Well, folks, unfortunately, our time is up. We would have loved to banter more on this, but unfortunately, that's it. We'll see you again on Monday at 6 p.m. live.
This is another episode of Life Matters, and I am your host, Latina Mata. Give us some insight into what is Miss Earth and what is so special about this pageant.
Okay, so like many pageants, there are a purpose behind the crown. So Miss Earth in particular, it's all about the awareness of the environment, and I'm basically an ambassador informing everyone to take care of their environment and their surroundings.
Take this moment, guys, to advocate the importance of mental health awareness, ensuring that this is something that is started to be placed in schools, in the school curriculums.
Yes.
Why aren't we having easy therapy access to schools, to parents, to the children? You know, that is something that we need to get some hands written about, right?
My name is Jesse McBarrow, and you are looking at Mending Minds. Tell us your Mending Mind moments.
I will say set goals.
A lot of people get so caught up in the what, they forget the why. There's this fixation of this is what I'm going to do.